Good morning, everybody. I am Rochelle Thomas, Energy Manager with the San Joaquin Valley Clean Energy Organization. I'm really excited to be with you this morning. I hope everyone's continuing to stay safe and stay healthy during these challenging times. I know we received some very not so promising news from our governor yesterday. However, we continue to come to you with the Funded Fast Chat on the second Tuesday of every month. We work really hard to bring you financing and project information as conveniently and efficiently as possible. So we understand that time is probably the most valuable and finite resource. Okay, I'm going to dive in here momentarily, but first, I would like to get our housekeeping out of the way. Please take note that all of your microphones have been muted in order to minimize background noise. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to submit them using the chat box at any point during the presentation. I very much encourage you to submit your questions as soon as they come to mind. We don't want to miss out on any good questions or any valuable input. As always, we will designate time toward the end of the presentation to address those questions or comments. If you do happen to submit a question and for whatever reason we aren't able to get to it, we might need to do some additional research, or it's possible we may just run out of time. Please be sure to keep an eye out for our follow-up email. We will provide responses to any unanswered questions, as well as a link to the recording of this presentation and any other resources we discussed during the call. And with that, we are ready to jump in. So what is EM&V? According to the United States Department of Energy, EM&V is the collection of methods and processes used to assess the performance of energy efficiency activities so that planned results can be achieved with greater certainty and future activities can be more effective. And the main objective of all this is to assess the performance of an energy efficiency program or project, and to measure the energy or demand savings and verify if the program is generating the expected level of savings. So why is all of this even important? Well, having a clear understanding and description of how a program or project is expected to deliver results both adds credibility to the completed project and it informs the direction for new projects. Now, for the purposes of this presentation, I would like to very quickly touch on the difference between a program and a project. Now, I know that sounds a little obvious, but I promise it's meaningful in context. A project is a single activity or site at which energy efficiency measures are installed. A program is a collection of projects and is also ongoing. So when we talk about EM and V, the E, or the evaluation, is referring to the program level activity. And the M and V, the measurement and verification, is referring to the project level activity. So how are EM and V and funding even related? Well, I understand that EM and V is not something we generally think of when we consider sources of funding. However, it absolutely can be. We've covered the concept of revolving loan funds pretty extensively in past Funded Fast Chats. As an organization, we are huge advocates of RLFs because they allow our partners to have an ever-growing pot of dollars that are designated for energy efficiency, which in turn allows them to plan for projects more effectively. What we've not focused as much on is how to get to and continue to add value to your revolving loan fund. This process occurs in a cycle, much like the one you see on the screen here. A successfully executed energy efficiency project, followed up by measurement and verification, leads to verified energy savings. These verified energy savings can then be diverted into a designated energy fund or a revolving loan fund. The RLF will grow over time as more energy efficiency projects are completed, and then the cycle just starts over again. So, particularly projects where the entire energy savings isn't being used to fund the initial project, or projects that have a relatively quick payback period, are excellent candidates for a revolving loan fund. Today, we're going to touch on how to get there, some useful tools that can help, as well as a case study of a comprehensive energy efficiency project through which we identified an awesome opportunity for a revolving loan fund. One of the most simple and cheapest, and by cheapest I mean free, tools that we use for measurement and verification is the Energy Star Portfolio Manager tool. Some of you may already be familiar with this tool because the SJV CEO uses it so extensively in our services we offer to our partners. But for anyone who's not familiar, ESPM is an online resource. It's a database of sorts that we use to catalog and track all of our local government partners' municipal energy accounts. ESPM was actually built with the idea of benchmarking buildings. However, we use it to benchmark all municipal infrastructure, including things like pumps, wells, streetlights, etc. So the idea is to have a comprehensive view across a whole local government's entire energy portfolio. This is really important because we use this tool to measure and verify an individual project we completed with one of our partners, the city of Avenal. Of course, you are welcome to try this portfolio manager stuff on your own, but I sincerely hope this is the point at which you just give us a call. Just call us because this is what we do. Really quickly here, and related to that, I just want to mention that if anyone has seen our monthly newsletters or our working from home bundles, they're chock full of helpful energy related information and opportunities. Please be sure these are not going to your junk box. You can also head to our website. You'll find a banner announcing our one on one energy coaching. One-on-one energy coaching is our way of designating personal time with you, our partners, at your convenience, and taking a deep dive into any issues you might have questions about or need guidance with. Additionally, we are happy to assist with pipelining projects with you and navigating those projects in these very uncertain times. So we want to make sure that this time we're kind of under lockdown um, is productive for you. And when we're ready to get things back to normal, so to speak, we can hit the ground running. Okay, back to our project example or case study, if you will, with our partners, City of Avenal. At the time this particular project was identified and subsequently implemented, we'd been benchmarking Avenal through ESPM for quite some time. So we already had a very considerable amount of historical energy data use on hand. Using that information, we were able to identify an opportunity for the direct install program to upgrade all of their lighting to LED, and then also to help identify the need for an ASHRAE Level 2 audit, which focused on opportunities for building envelope measures. So the final list of measures that we ended up with installed includes LED lighting, fiberglass insulation, batting insulation, foam sealant, and radiant barrier foil. Items 2 through 5 were all applications for or reinforcing the ceiling insulation. And in this particular facility, there was none previously existing. So the savings here were actually really phenomenal. Also, for this particular project, we were able to secure not only grant funding, we were also able to secure foundation funding and program funding for roughly 3/4 of the total cost. So that made the savings even just that much better. After a full year of monitoring the energy usage, I built this chart using information directly from ESPM. You don't have to be a sophisticated engineer for this. I'm certainly not, but I was able to pull together KWH usage from the years prior to the completion of the project. Now, keep in mind, the lighting portion of the project was completed during the spring of year two. The envelope measures were completed during December of year two and into year three on the chart. So, year three is the first full calendar year that we see the savings accumulated from both the lighting and the envelope measures. And as you can see right away, there's a huge drop in KWH usage in that third year. Also, I selected the months of May through August to do a preliminary comparison because Avenal is located in the Central Valley. If anyone is familiar with the weather here in the Central Valley, these are the hottest months of the year and therefore represent the months in which we see our greatest cooling load. Now, I've taken the grand total of the energy expenditures for the entire year for years one, two, and three, and I did an overall comparison. Now, I can't give you the actual numbers because we have to keep our partners' information confidential. However, I'm going to use some hypothetical numbers that represent the same proportion of energy savings. I hope that makes sense. The overall energy reduction in year two, as compared to our baseline, which was year one, this only accounts for the savings achieved with the lighting project that was completed in April. And this reduction represents 8.3%. The overall energy reduction in year three, as compared to our baseline, again, year one, this is accounting for the savings achieved with both the lighting and the envelope measures. So we saw a grand total of 31.5% reduction from their baseline. Let's say hypothetically that the annual energy cost in the baseline year was $20,000. Our new annual energy cost in year three is now $13,692. That means the difference of a little over $6,300 is verified cost savings and what should be attributed to your revolving loan fund to fund your future projects. So, what's next? Believe it or not, everything I just explained is actually the easy part. For The more difficult part is actually developing an internal policy to take your agency from the point at which you're able to identify actual energy savings to putting those dollars aside into a designated fund. SJV CEO, as always, we're here to help you with any part of that process you need. If it's the EM&V process itself, or deciding which projects are the best candidates, or assisting in drafting your policy to get approval from your board. Finally, as I said earlier, we have covered this topic fairly extensively in Fast Chats in the past. We first covered this topic at a very, very high level in our Fast Chat that aired in July of 2018. We discussed the mechanics of an RLF and generally how they work. In March of 2019, we had a very special guest. Her name is Alelia Parenteau. She is the Energy and Climate Program Supervisor for the City of Santa Barbara's Department of Sustainability and Resilience. Say that 3 times fast. Alelia does a really wonderful job explaining in detail in this particular Fast Chat her revolving loan fund with the City of Santa Barbara. And just as a side note here, revolving loan fund and revolving energy fund are one and the same. So I know I use those terms interchangeably quite a lot. With this fund, though, the city of Santa Barbara is not only able to fund the city's energy efficiency projects, but they're also able to fund the personnel that makes up their sustainability and resilience department. So if you think about it, that's a really special kind of motivation to execute good energy projects because those proceeds actually pay their salaries. So that's a really special case, but nonetheless, it's a very effective fund. And then finally, just last year in October, we featured the Southern California Regional Energy Network, or SoCalREN for short, and with whom the SJV CEO very proudly partners. This is a really good example of an externally managed revolving loan fund program that our local government partners are able to take advantage of. This RLF program is offered to local government partners that are located in disadvantaged communities and in Southern California Edison territory, and it helps to assist them in bridging funding gaps. For example, in the event a local government partner secures grant or even loan funding for a project, but is having an issue producing the upfront capital to get that project started. For example, there may be a delay in the availability of funding, or that funding may be made available on a reimbursement basis. So some of our partners may not be able to float that cash up front. So the SoCalREN RLF program can be used to bridge this funding gap and get the project started. So I will be sure to provide links to all of these presentations in our follow-up email that we'll send out after the call today. Okay, so well, that's everything that I have for you this morning. I'm going to take a really quick pause here um, to check and see if we have any questions or any comments in our chat box. So let me do that right now. Let's see. Okay, I don't see any questions yet, but I just want to pause here to give folks an opportunity to submit questions. So while you're working on that, I want to remind everyone to please look out for our follow-up email later today. That email will actually announce the availability of the recording of this fast chat. The subject line is huge, and it says in all caps, recording available. Also, I will be sure to provide links to all of the previous fast chats we mentioned earlier in the presentation, as well as links to any other resources I discussed. Please take a second and go ahead and add us to your contacts to be sure you're receiving our email communications. And I'll take one more quick look here at the chat box and see if anyone's got anything. Okay, I don't see anything here. I'm going to go ahead and encourage everyone listening, please share the fast chat with your friends and your colleagues. You never know who might benefit from this information or even how this information might inspire ideas for new projects. Our next fast chat is on the calendar for August 11th at 10 a.m., and we will be announcing that topic very soon. As always, I sincerely appreciate you spending part of your morning with us. We invite you to connect with the SJV CEO on social media. We're on Instagram and we're on Twitter. We can also connect through email or on our website. Our sole purpose is to connect you with resources that will help you get your projects done. In the meantime, if you would like to listen to any of our fast chats, you can find all of them at sjvceo.org. Again, that's sjvceo.org under the resources heading. I hope everyone has an awesome week. Stay safe and stay healthy.